Hi viewers, welcome back to my studio. I'm just getting set up for a new painting tutorial. We're going to do a nice calm water scene. I've got some masking tape cut out here into a little sun that we're going to have reflecting into the water. You don't have to do this part, but it does definitely help make it a little bit easier. So if you want to follow along completely, that's what I've got. This is a dry canvas. We're going to apply our liquid white, and I'll show you the paints that you're going to need, and let's hop right to it. All right, let's get started. The canvas is dry. We're going to apply liquid white over the tape. I'm going to try not to get too much paint on this, but whatever, we'll wipe it off. It's not a big deal. But we're just going for a thin, even coat of liquid white all over the canvas. I'm just going to get off whatever is extra. This just kind of helps make sure that you've got it evenly distributed, and I like to look at it from different angles and you'll be able to see where it's shiny or not, where you missed. Another way is just to stick your finger on it and test it, but I always get messy, so if I can avoid getting messy from the start, I'm gonna try, but it didn't really work. So, let's get some paint on the palette. Alright, so the first thing I did was mixed up my orange color. It was about equal parts of cadmium yellow to bright red. I kind of put out a little bit too much, so I had to clean that up. So, bright orange is about what we were looking for. There's just a tiny bit of dark sienna in there just to dull it down just a smidge. All right, to get started, we're gonna grab our big 2-inch brush and go right into that orange that we just made. Get a good bit of it into the brush by tapping on your palette. I'm going to set this down, and working across the top, we're just going to do X's. Get some more paint. Really want it to be nice and dark up here on the top. So we've got a lot of paint on the brush, really working it in, pushing pretty hard, and we're going to move it down on the canvas, and it will start to blend with that liquid white, which is what we want, and it'll kind of soften as we get closer to the horizon. All right, I'm just working that color in. I've used the word before, but it's really, you really want to condition the canvas, get that color deep into the canvas so we have something to work with and layer on and help us harmonize our painting all together. I'm just going to keep bringing this down and kind of cleaning out my brush. It's okay if we get this to be really anywhere on the canvas, because we're going to put another color on top. But I really want to just clean out the brush as much as I can. quite think that that paint would go all the way on the whole canvas, but we basically just about covered it. I'm just gonna kind of soften this up a bit, take a step back. Just want to check these, check that it's nice and softly blended where you get like a good gradient from top down. And there's not any hard spots, so I just like to come back in here and touch it up. We're gonna have a real simple sky. If you want to go in and put some clouds or texture, you can definitely do that. I just didn't want to spend too much time on it since we've got a couple other things to work on today. That seems about right for now. I got my palette. We're gonna go right into the Prussian Blue. Tap that in. Now we still have liquid white on the canvas, so it is gonna lighten up our color. So we're gonna start from the bottom and get an even better effect of dark to light here. I'll work this dark Prussian Blue right into the canvas. Sorry, I keep putting it a little low. Chasing me around. And work this up. I put a lot of pressure down at the bottom, but as I move up, I'm letting up on the pressure. We're not going to go too much higher than that because we'll be able to blend that out a little bit more. Grab a little bit more paint. Do the same thing on this side. There we go. Just kind of work that in there. Right. Next, we're going to grab some titanium white. Just on that same dirty brush. It had the orange on it, then it had the blue. Now, I'm going to go with this light blue color. A little more white. We're going to work it in. A little more white. Yeah, that's nice. Just a light blue kind of color. We're just going to work it up kind of hazy blue. Just gonna work it in. And see how that goes. All right, I just got a little bit more paint of that light blue. Just gonna put that in this area here. Just work it in. It's real soft. And I'm gonna kind of make these lines just a little bit softer there. Can't quite tell where one ends and the other beginnings of this light and dark. It just kind of blends up and down. Nice and soft. I will pick up a clean 2-inch brush, and working in this middle area, we're gonna just blend these two into a nice soft kind of blue mist. Just blend it as much or as little as you want till you like it. Gonna kind of put a little bit of movement in here. Just feels like it ought to be there. Just wiggling the brush around. All right. See if I can move some of this up even more over here. Now up into the corner, I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of Alizarin Crimson and bright red together. I just want to get a nice, kind of a rich red, just slightly darker than what we have. Just a slightly tinted there. Do the same thing on the other corner. Just a little tint. That's nice. Got my blending brush. I'm just going to soften that out a little bit. And while I have it, just make sure that this is real soft, pleasant there. I'm going to come in here with the fan brush and a little bit of titanium white into that blue mixture that we had here. I'm just going to dance around just a few little interesting cloud movements here. Kind of all around in this back area. A little more paint. Don't whoop! Throwing things. Looks good. Wipe that off. And into our blue mixture. Just getting a little mess of paint. Nothing particular about it. Just want to add a little bit of texture and dimension, a little bit of variety into this backdrop so that it's not just super plain Jane, but if that's how you like it, I mean, by all means. I'm gonna put that down and grab my blender brush again. I'm actually gonna wipe that off. Mostly clean, and just kind of brush down the bottoms of most of these clouds here, and really just keep a few main points of the cloud, but we really want to soften it and just make it look like there's a little bit of texture without you really seeing any specific outlines, because this is really, really far away. You can just see that there's maybe a little bit of, like, there was a storm, or there is a storm, or there's just a little bit of mist out on the horizon as the sun is moving across it. I'm sure you've seen it. I know I have, somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere. I'm gonna lift, and just kind of soften those out. I like it. I'm gonna use my knife and just peel off this tape. Wow. All right, so I want to get some color in here, obviously. So we're gonna go in and grab, I've got a nice soft bristle brush here. This is my sable brush. I'm gonna grab some titanium white and our orange mixture. Not too much of it, but we don't have any paint up here, so we do need to apply. So I'm just gonna real softly get a little bit of color in here. It's okay if you pick up color from the edges and bring that in. We're gonna blend over this in just a second, but I really wanna get a tiny bit of paint on here so the rest of it can stick and we're not just working with a super dry piece of canvas here. And I'm just wiggling the brush right around the edge, and it's allowing me to pick up a little bit of that background paint because it's a little thinner and I can bring it right into the sun. All right, we've got that mostly at least covered there. I'm gonna blend just a little bit more. I'm kind of picking up a little bit of this color here on my blending brush. Go all the way across, softly. Let's just soften all of the edges of this and really bring it together. You can take your brush and put one point right into the center and work really tiny X's all the way around. It will really help to soften that out. You want to just make that edge kind of disappear so it's not a really fine line, it's just kind of fuzzy looking up there. Bring it in on those edges. All right, step away and take a look. Okie dokie. Had a little coffee, had some water, and let's work a little bit on our horizon over here. I'm gonna grab my filbert brush, or small bristle brush, whatever you like, black and our blue mixtures. Just get a little bit of that all the way down here on the bottom, moving just about all the way across. Get real dark down here, maybe more black. Really working just with a couple colors today and gradients. So I made it quite a bit brighter over here so that you can see it. Definitely don't feel like you need to make it this bright. I do love bright colors, so it doesn't offend me in any way when this sits on my wall for a couple weeks and dries, but for your preferences, please do whatever makes you feel comfortable. So what we're gonna do is work this dark color. Basically, I'm gonna pick out a horizon, which is gonna be, roughly above this and somewhere across. So let's, for sake of doing this proper, measure it. Even though we're still very much eyeballing it. Let's double check that. That seemed pretty shady. To the top. To the top? Yeah, alright. All the way. There you go. Nice. Cool, I'm gonna work this brush. I've got some of the dark color here and just kind of bring some of these together here. I don't want this too much darker up here, but I do want some more of these colors to be coming together. I'm going to try and pull all of it all the way over to our reflection line there, and I can go pick up a bigger brush. 2-inch brush, Prussian Blue, Midnight Black. You know, sometimes I really just have to think about it. It kind of froze up there for a sec. This is real, people. Be sure to like this video if you like what I'm doing and you're enjoying this painting. Please share it with your friends. Save it for later so that you can still paint. Better yet, send me an email of you painting this one. I'd love to see your final creation, or if you took a couple photos along the way, you should send those to me. I would really love to see them. My email will be below. You can go to my website, KayleeRakowski.com, and send me some photos of what you're working on. I'd love to see it. Like and subscribe below if you like this video. Be sure you hit follow so you'll be alerted when I make new videos like this. Alright, let's stop with that. Nice fancy blending brush. I'm going to peel this off since we don't need it anymore. And I'm going to just work this color over it'll kind of soften on in there. I don't know how I managed to still have orange on there, but that was a nice little treat. I didn't quite plan that. I think it was going to be white before, but now this is what it's supposed to be. So let's blend this out. This line over here is a little weird. So I'm just going to kind of soften that there. I really just wanted like a really soft seam. And before I get this too covered in paint, just wipe it off a little bit. And we'll come back up here to the horizon and just really soften that out. I almost don't want to see it, but you know, we still know it's there. Really want it super, super soft. Right now I'm doing pretty straight across strokes, just a tiny bit of an X to soften it, but I'm pushing very lightly. So we don't want to mess up the line too much. We just want to really soften it in there. Nice. I'm just going to touch up some of these areas where we kind of slopped it up. There we go. And let's work in this area. Make sure we've got some paint in there. And all the way across, we're just going to blend this whole bottom now. I got a lot of darker, heavy paints on the bottom, which is good, so we're just going to work it up so it's nice and even. Long horizontal strokes here. I'm going to take my palette knife here and go right into, let's grab some titanium white and some blue. We can just use this. I couldn't decide, but now I've decided. Let's use this. And we'll touch and pull away. Just right here in this center. Grab some more paint and working in horizontal strokes, we'll just tap in this reflection here. It's okay if you've got different mixtures of that blue. We do want a little bit of variety. Just white and blue here. Kind of widen it up here. And I really want it to seem extra bright in one area. Right where we had our little piece of tape here, there's not as much paint underneath it, so these really stick and you'll be able to blend them out so it stays nice and bright in that area that you just created. Remove some of these. And I'm gonna mix up another color here with some white. We've got Prussian Blue, Phthalo Blue, and Midnight Black in here. Just grab a little bit of that, maybe a little more white. More Prussian Blue. I want it like a blue color. Dark blue, shadowy color. And we're gonna work in some mid-tones. We are still gonna soften these up, so don't worry too much about it. Got a little plan here. Horizontal lines. This is just kind of some water movement. Take some blues. Just want to make sure that we get a little bit of variety in here. Right. Just grab one of your blending brushes and we'll move across towards the center and just soften those out. And it just kind of gives you a little bit of a water effect without really trying too hard. And you're picking up paint and moving it. I'm not pushing too much pressure. I'm definitely letting up as I get to the center. It's okay if we pick up some of the paint. That's what's going on over here. Now let's try and move some of these. There we go. Nice. Soften that up. Wipe that off and just soften it out again. I'm gonna kind of do some rock movements, rocking, just a little bit of water movement here. You can use a smaller brush. This works pretty well. Just really lightly using it. I don't want to do too much. We'll stop there. Now with our palette knife, let's take our blue mixture with the white, make it just a touch darker. We're going to finish off this horizon. Let that sit for a sec. Grab my small sable brush and really just soften out some areas over here. Leaving the top, but just kind of adding a little bit of movement. Soft brush really picks up and moves around paint really nicely. Just want to get it nice and soft. Horizon again, but just slightly darker. There we go. Let's move some of these around. Just using that nice rocking motion with the brush. All right. Over here. Okay. All right, now we're gonna be brave here and grab some dark colors, mix them up. Little red, blue, and black. Grab some of that and put in a little bit of land. Just a tiny little bit here, a little island. Just happened to sprout up and do a little bit of living. Highlight that with some titanium white, just mix right into that same color. And wipe that off. A little bit of our orange mixture right on the top. So you know it's really shining in the sunshine. take the sable brush, pull that down into a nice little reflection. Go right across. Your script liner brush and grab some paint. We're gonna thin down a dark color here, the same dark color we used to make the rock. Should be kind of a real dark lavender. I want it on the blue side. And put in a nice tree. Not sure how it got here, but it wasn't quite ready to leave. Get some more paint. To load that brush, you can really get a lot of paint in here, so you wiggle it all around in your paint and spin it into a point. I think this tree, well, he probably wants a friend, so let's give him one. More paint. Thin it down. Real big and tall. I'm just kind of wiggling my fingers around, and kind of like twitch your fingers about, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's pretty realistic. If you go out in the woods, they all look all beaten up, and I imagine being out on the water, like a lake or something like this, it's got all beaten up. It's definitely doing really good work, but it works hard. So, a good wiggle. You gotta wiggle it out. That's how the branches come off your brush, is with a wiggle. And just put as many or as few as you would like. Go to town. Be sure to move them around and try not to make them all look the same, which for whatever reason is hard to do. You just get into like this rhythm of something, then you're like, oh no, I just did the same thing over and over again on that branch, and it's really repetitive. But that's the one thing, you can always change it up. I'm thinking too hard on this. Let's get right up in here and give them one more little branch. I'm thinking something right up in here. These ones are in front. Some more branches coming across the front. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's throw some branches on them. I'm gonna take the crimson brush. We added a little bit of crimson up into the corners. And we're gonna take some Alizarin Crimson, bright red, some orange, Van Dyke, or this is dark sienna. Okay, dark sienna, and your reds. Kind of tap it in there. Actually, get it on all of the angles. And we're just gonna pick out some branches and put them in. A little more orange. I know it's gonna pick some of that up, but we kind of want it like a burnt color. And we'll highlight it again. There, that's a little better. Remember, try not to get them all going the same way, but general direction. Kind of making like a little bit of umbrella type. And keep picking up some more of that redder tones so we don't get too blue on the branches. And we're going to go up into the top of that tree there. It's a little lighter. I'm going to add just a touch of white. Just a touch. Just to lighten that up and to really bring kind of some more sunshine into the top branches. I'm barely touching on these. More white, orange. Just tapping, tap. More white and orange. Let's balance him out a little. And let's see what we've got with that. Just a little bit more, kind of wanted to even it out a little bit, but I like that. Let's do just a, I'll leave this one out. It just looked like it needed it. Now, let's pick it back up, our little script liner. We'll just throw in a few more little branches now that we've got some leaves up here. Kind of fill it up a little bit. Nice. And I'm gonna grab some liquid white into that dirty brush mixture just to get a little bit of a highlight color, a little more liquid white. And just right up along the side here. On the other one. And we're just going to take the palette knife and just very lightly pull that around. Pretty thin, so it's a little tough. You just want to really blend out a straight, you know, just a brush line in there. We want to just kind of soften it up. And tiny bit of liquid white into our bright orange. I'm just going to get a tiny bit of that right on the end of the knife here and just tap. A little bit. Tiny bit of sunshine there. Nice. Next, we are going to grab some dark, a little bit thicker now, and just throw in a little bit of a shadow from these trees. It's going to kind of, you know, fade out. That's why we have a lot of dark down here. Let's go ahead and grab just a little more texture down here. All right. Blending brush. Go across. And we're going to kind of make these two come together here. Wipe that off and pull down and go across. Right. Now we're going to grab our fan brush, liquid white, into our orange. We want a nice, bright, a little more red, kind of more like a peach color. Lots of white. Lots of white. I'm using liquid white, making it really thin. And I need it thinner and lighter than that color we have up there. You can just, you know, check it and see how you're doing. Now I'm just going to tap on the top and pull out a few of these. Get some more paint. Make sure you're always using that thin, light paint. Working down and picking out just a few. Areas here that are getting hit by this light source. Kind of getting further down. It's probably only going to be these outside edges. The stuff showing through. Pick out a couple. I'm going to grab a little more orange over here. Orange. Light. Orange. We're just working back and forth with colors till you get something that you like. And hope that you didn't do too much. Okay, let's make a little water line down at the base here. We need some liquid white. I'm gonna thin down this blue color. since we're in the shadow, a little bit of white, titanium white, and liquid white. We want it like a thin down white mixture, but not too thin. Cut off a little piece of it and just go straight across. Pick up another roll and get this back side. Move in a few water lines. Okay. Last step. We're gonna put in a little bow. Why not? Blue, black, crimson. Load up your brush. You're gonna do like a little bit above this shadow, a half moon, kind of like a crescent shape. A little more paint down on this side. Okay, now with that brush, go across the top. Nice. Now we're going to take our brush and just push in some shadows. Darkest part right at the bottom. Kind of up in this moon shape here. Okay. I'll fix the shape of this here. Now we have most of our dark in here. We're just gonna go in with a slightly thinner color. Make sure we can reinforce this dark area. A little more here. And working up to the top. Just work on the shape a little bit more here. I like to use my hand for support. I'm doing something I'm trying to do straight. It doesn't always work, but you can try it. All right, now a little more dark. We're gonna apply it on this back side here. Okay. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of liquid white and kind of our burnt red color here, a little orange. I want a lighter color than what we have up here, but not too crazy. I don't want it to be too bright, kind of similar to our trees. It's far away, so we're not going to see too much of it. And we'll just paint this highlight or paint. All right. And we're gonna pick out a real high point on it with a highlight. And the other side of the boat. This side a little bit darker. Not dark enough. You know, the sable brush and just blend out a little bit of the bottom of that highlight we just put on. Okay. And let's pick out a high point on this other. There we go. Final highlight, maybe. Just dragging it across, hoping it'll work. Get a real nice light color. Right. Now, this boat needs guide. And just the slightest bit more of a highlight, or liquid white on the brush. Just a little dash here. Here. Now we'll take a blending brush, pull the bottom of the boat down into the water, and go across. Up your palette knife. and our water mixture. Just press right into the bottom of that. Water line. Right, I'm gonna grab just a little bit more of that mixture. I'm gonna put a little tie off here. Bow. Kind of like a little wood plank, something. They know this is a good spot to come hang out. A little rope. Tie that off. And right here. Kind of just wrap it around, a little texture and make it look a little bit like a rope. Tiny bit of liquid white. Just dash it right here. And we need a tiny bit of shadow. And last but not least, we'll put in our little person who's sitting in the boat. It'd be kind of weird if there wasn't anybody in it. I don't know how it would have gotten out there, right? Be a small person, just a silhouette. Got a head. Neck. Shoulders. Knees and toes. Haha. I got you good on that. Just a real simple figure. And maybe sitting out here, kind of, I don't know, meditating, having a moment, a beautiful moment. Let's put them down into the boat now. So we're gonna pass this first bit. There we go. Pick up my sable brush. Just kind of want to pick up a little bit of extra paint. There we go. And make her a little bit darker. Real dark at the bottom here. Okay, sable brush, soften, wipe that off. And just one more time. Now I have my filbert brush, and I'm going into my dark mixtures. I'm just going to do one more. Okay. Now, take the script liner brush and your thin highlight mixture again. So we have kind of this orangish color. And we're just gonna go around some of the outsides here and redo these highlights. And then we're gonna really get the color of the boat here to work for us. Now that this paint has sat here for just a couple minutes, we can move it around a little bit better. Wipe that off. Okay. Now our highlighted orange mixture. Oh, wow. Try that again. I got it all on me. Highlight. Highlight color. Now, we'll give her a little bit of light. Right around the outside of her. A little more highlight color right out in front. And behind her. And get some dark and put in this nice shadow right underneath this highlight that we have here. Okay, and I'm just gonna blend that back down. And blend these highlights a little teensy bit. I'm just cleaning off my script liner brush. I'm going to grab a little bit more of a light color here. Just a tiny little dot. And there. There. Here. All right, I think I'm gonna sign it. I'll take my script liner brush, clean that off, and get it nice and thin. We're gonna thin down our bright red with a little orange. Keep it all the same. I'm just gonna put it down here in the corner. You sign yours wherever you want. Enough. No more, no more. We're done. Thank you so much for being here with me today in my studio. My name is Kaylee. I am a self-taught wet on wet oil painter. If you liked what we did today, please subscribe to my channel so that you're always going to be alerted every time I do a new video. Also, like this video, share it with your friends. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Send me a picture on my email. I'll put that in the description below. I'd love to see if you painted this really simple lake scene. Thank you so much. Smile and be happy, friends.